Welcome back to another episode of Full Retard. Today we have more Choosing Beggar stories for you. First up, Karen thinks she can get whatever she wants for free because it's her angel's birthday by Big Brain 246. Hi, this is my first post on this sub, and someone told me to post this here, so yeah. So a bit of a backstory. This is pre-COVID, and it was the day before my birthday. I was at Edible Arrangements. If you don't know what that is, I'll put a link to a picture in the comments. And I was with my dad waiting in line to get our order. Karen is in front of us, and she starts yelling at employee. What do you mean I can't get this for free? It's kid's birthday. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I can't just give you your order for free just because it's kid's birthday. Let me speak to your manager. Okay, hold on a second. Employee goes through the employees only door and comes back a minute later with manager.
What seems to be the problem, ma'am?
Employee isn't giving me my order for free.
And why do you think that we'll just give you your order for free?
It's kid's birthday tomorrow.
So?
I need it.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but we don't go around giving customers free orders because it's their child's birthday.
Huh. Well, I know the woman who owns the store, so you can kiss your jobs goodbye. And then she stomps out of the store in a huff. I'm trying not to laugh because I actually know the guy who owns the store. He's my best friend's dad. After she left, me and my dad got our order and paid for it like a decent person. Next up, Choosing Beggars Looking for Free Catering by Aunt Jenny 48. I'm starting my own cooking business as I have been cooking for elderly neighbors during COVID, and everyone else I have cooked for loves my food. I have come across all choosing beggars who basically want the food for free. Just had a lady want me to cook 3 different dishes for her family for a week's worth of food. Managed to get the grocery cost down to $85, and that is with throwing in freebies, such as onions and milk that I need for the recipes. I wanted to charge $150, which would actually break even as it would cost money for delivery to them as well. The cost is pretty reasonable for 2 people for 3 dishes. Nope. Was still too expensive for them. Could I do it for less than $100? Even asking if $50 was good? With the groceries costing $85 and me throwing in extra groceries for free, but I still had to buy? I would be losing money. I said no. Good luck finding anyone that will cook 3 huge meals for you for $50. I have other customers that also don't want to pay more than $20 for a meal. Never mind that the cost of the groceries is more than that and that the time it takes me to prep and cook. Next up, I Was a Choosing Beggar by James Master. I live in New York City. One night I went out and didn't have my purse with me. I had my keys, an ATM card, and Metro card, etc. in my coat pocket. Was at a bar and stacked my coat on a pile of others. Thought it was safe in the middle of the pile. Okay. Last call comes around and I go to get my jacket and it is gone. This was way downtown and I live way uptown in the Bronx. Friends have left, so I am out of luck. No cell, no quarter. Can't use cab because no money. The bar was close to where I work, and I kept spare keys at my desk, so I walked there. Security wouldn't let me in because it was 4 a.m. and I was drunk. So I start walking uptown and make it to Times Square. I'm thinking I'll just hop the turnstile and at least get home when a panhandler asked me for some money. I asked him for money instead because I had no money and needed to get back home. He actually gave me subway fare and cash for a slice of pizza, and then I had the balls to ask for an extra 50 cents so I could get a pepperoni slice. Not my proudest moment. Up next, husband gives choosing beggar the Dr. Pepper he asked for by Food Joshi Noodles. This happened to my husband a little bit ago. He goes into this gas station to get a certain bottled drink as he does daily, and a man approaches him. The man said, "Hey man, think you could buy me a Dr. Pepper? I'm just dying of thirst, man." And my husband replied, "Just a Dr. Pepper? That's all you want?"
"Yeah, man, just a Dr. Pepper."
Okay, so my husband goes inside and he gets a bottle of Dr. Pepper and asks, he's a nice guy and it does get hot out. He gets a bottled water for him as well. When he comes out with it, he gives the drinks to the man and the man gets an annoyed look on his face and practically shouted at my husband,
"What happened to the fountain drink?"
My husband was very taken aback by this choosing beggar and walked away saying, "Well, you didn't specify." Finally, I Might Have the Ultimate Choosing Beggar by 13 Luthien 4077. Pretty sure this little ditty belongs here. Somewhat of a rant, but could be entertaining to someone. Edit. Too long, didn't read. Cousin with no disability refuses to get a job. or any kind of income because he expects her relatives to look after her like they would a child. Cousin is often offered multiple jobs she could reasonably be expected to do and turns them all down. The choosing beggar details are below. My oldest cousin, we will call her Lee, is 31 and has never held a job in her life. It took Lee 8 years to drop out of college because she couldn't complete an associate's 2-year degree at the time. She blamed her poor health, but nowadays if you get enough rum in her, she will say she just didn't want to do her homework ever. This led to her failing multiple courses to the point she had to change majors 3 times. She still couldn't manage to get a 2-year degree after all of that. She had a part-time job in college for 10 hours a week, 2 hours a day, but was let go after 2 semesters because Lee had health issues that prevented her from coming to work at least 2 days, if not more, a week. 5 years ago, Lee dropped out of school. She was and had been living with our elderly grandfather, taking care of him. He didn't really need any care at the time, so Lee mostly slept and played on her phone because she was too sick to do chores. She used our grandfather's credit card for anything and everything she wanted because he gave it to her. He sort of enabled her bad behavior, really, but still. Our grandmother died when we were both starting college, and Lee moved in with grandfather to take care of him. She cooked once in a while, but he did dishes. Grandfather drove Lee to her doctor's appointments for her ailments. Wait on those because she had seizures and couldn't drive, but she was always well enough to drive to the movies or to a friend's house. He also bought her a brand new Toyota Prius back in 2012 and paid for her books and fees at school as long as she lived with him. However, he eventually got tired of taking care of his 20-something granddaughter and moved to a retirement home. Lee has been living with her mother and father again for the first time since she started college. Her mother said that if she was too sick to work, she needed to get on disability. Lee's mother was hemiplegic migraines, which can cause epilepsy-like symptoms. Lee's health problems have always been severe headaches and stomach aches. After 2 years of living with grandfather, she started having fits where her leg would spasm and thrash about violently, and then after 6 months of that, she started being unable to use the limb that thrashed about after it had been thrashing. She called these events seizures. She even had one in her doctor's office, right after the doctor told her she definitely did not have the neurological signs of a seizure. 5 trips to the Mayo Clinic, and 11 years later, over 13 doctors have checked Lee for hemiplegic migraines, epilepsy, Hashimoto's, brain tumors, you name it. She has gluten intolerance, not celiac or an allergy, and mild seasonal asthma, and that's all they can find. Lee tells everyone she has chronic fatigue syndrome. That does run in our family, but half of the Mayo doctors don't believe she has it, and the other half didn't even bring it up. No doctor is willing to sign off and say she has a disability of any kind. Lee's mom, my Aunt Tricia, said 6 months ago it was time to get a job of some kind. Didn't have to be a full-time or any specific field, just had to be a job and bring in some money to help pay for the phone bill and electric bills that Lee ran up every month. It could even be just a regular babysitting gig for a family or two every so often. Nothing serious. Just bring in some money to help. Lee applied and refused to leave off applications that she had a disability. The interviews she did not have that offered her a job were places like the corner store and gas station, which she turned down because I want to get a job and stay there. I won't stay at those places, so it's a waste of time. I won't violate my morals just to get some money. The worst one was Walmart for our uncle. Back in May, when everyone was opening back up, one of our uncles got her an interview at his Walmart. He's one of the managers at the location. He knew she was looking for a job, so he pulled her app on purpose to get her an interview. She came in. They were looking for a full-time cashier. She told him she was too sick to come in every day. Our uncle knew she had health problems, so he offered to create a sort of on-call position for her. She could come in once a week as scheduled, and if someone needed to take off, they could call her first to see if she would be willing to take the job. I don't even think Walmart does stuff like this, but he's the manager, and he was trying to make something work for her. She said she would need a chair at the register since she wasn't strong enough to stand, and she couldn't wear a mask because of her asthma. The HR rep at the interview said that needing a chair at any workstation would require a doctor's note, but they could put her as a greeter with the chair, but not a cashier, and with a face shield instead. Lee countered that working at the doors would be too hot for her. Her uncle gave up and said, "We'll call you." They never did, and now Lee is trying to sue them for disability discrimination when she doesn't have one. Aunt Tricia, whose brother tried to help her daughter get a job, was furious. Understandably. To help the family out, Lee's sister, Mary Ann, offered to have Lee come and stay with her for a while, provided Lee would help out. Lee applied for jobs and got interviews for 3: customer service, call center rep, school lunch lady, and county courthouse clerk. She was hired for the call center. which would be working from home from a company computer with an allowance for an extra internet data needed on the spot. The courthouse people, knowing our family well, also offered her a job on the spot. The call center paid $14 an hour starting, and the courthouse was $11 an hour start, with 2 weeks paid vacation, 2 weeks of sick days, and paid health insurance. Both were full-time, easy jobs, wouldn't require a lot of physical movement or effort. The school lunch lady job was more like kitchen assistant, washing the dishes, taking out trash, lifting the products, etc. Lee has always loved kids. Our cousin has 4 kids, ages 7 through 11, and Lee has watched them on occasion. She has babysat a couple of toddlers for friends a few times over the years. That's the extent of her interactions with kids. Lee also takes 2 to 3 days off of life after these interactions, saying they drain her too much. If we ever go shopping together with our cousins or go on a family hike or picnic, she needs a minimum of 2 days in bed to recover from shopping, which she spends watching TV and video games. Regardless, she wanted the lunch lady job. She turned down the other 2 jobs in favor of the one job she wasn't offered, period. It's been 3 months since she moved in with Mary Ann. Mary Ann has had to pay to upgrade her internet service to accommodate Lee's insistence on streaming shows on their Roku while playing games like World of Warcraft online at the same time. The electric bill has nearly doubled since Lee moved in as well, further distressing Mary Ann since she lost one of her jobs due to the pandemic. She can afford these things, but money is incredibly tight for her right now. Lee also is picky. She refuses to eat anything not gluten-free or completely organic for her health. While we all can understand that, it doesn't mean her SNAP benefits necessarily cover everything she eats. So Mary Ann, trying to be a good sister, has picked up the extra tab. Our cousin, for whom Lee has occasionally babysat, has offered to pay Lee for her services multiple times. Lee won't hear of it. What else is family for? Well, now Mary Ann is asking if I can take Lee in for a few days here and there to give her something to do. I work from home in a student support position for the university I attend, and I pay for everything from my stipend. No extras for me for a while, including extra internet, so I said no, of course. Thanks for listening. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. Subscribe to our podcast and like us on Facebook.